Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nova and welcome to the Bosstler Army. I just wanted to make this video to kind of give a little backstory about what Bosstler is, its origin, its lore, where it came from, all of that good stuff. So take a seat and let's jump into it. All right, let me get cozy because it's gonna be a story. Well, it's not really a story, but it's gonna be a story. So it started back in 2020 during the pandemic, and during this time, it was the time of where you had Boss Babe, you had the girl hustle culture, all of these girl bosses were coming out. Everybody was taking pictures with their arm crossed. Like, it was the birth of that era. At the time, I was living in Jersey. I was living in Jersey City. I was in a 1-bedroom apartment in Jersey. Oh my God, like, looking back at that apartment, I love that apartment though. That was my baby. That was my very first apartment. Shout out to me. So at the time, I was homeschooling my son. I was working for a record label, but I was working from home, and I was doing all of like my little social media stuff. So I was doing, I had my entertainment workshop series. I was doing the open mic for the label. I was doing a lot of things on social media virtually, and that's kind of what birthed my entrepreneurship journey, because I was working from home and I realized that, wow, I can make money by working from home. The entertainment workshop series that I had, I was using that to network with different industry people, and just kind of a way to broaden my network, right? That was my way of getting in the industry and really mixing it with the movers and shakers. I saw the Boss Babes and stuff like that, and yeah, it was cool and all, but I felt like I personally didn't really identify with that. And I wanted something for my own. I wanted something for myself. I don't know. It just came to me. I swear to God, I don't know where it came from. I guess it was just divine timing, or it was just ordained on me, if that's the word. But it was a day I was just sitting in my room, of course, doing work. For some reason, I was just always working. Like, I was working 10-hour days. I don't know what the hell I was working on, but I was just working. And it came to me, and I'm like, what if you were to put a boss and a hustler together? Like, what would that sound like? What would that be? And I'm like, oh, a Bosstler. And that just, I just connected with that word because I felt like I was a boss at the time, and still am, because I was working for myself. And although I was working with the label, I was starting to gain clients and do things outside of the scope of my 9 to 5. And then I felt like I was a hustler because I was hustling these contacts, I was hustling these partnerships, I was hustling all of these different things. So I'm just like, yo, I'm a Bosstler. I swear to God, I went on the internet and I looked high and low to see if anybody had that term, because I just could not believe that nobody had coined it. I didn't find anything on the internet with Bosstler. Nothing popped up, nothing on Instagram. The domain name was available. Like, I took it so far even to trademark it, and that's how I knew it was for me. So I was going with it, right? Like, I had a Bosstler book club. Mind you, again, this was all during the pandemic, so it was me, my homegirl at the time, a few other people. I was like, yeah, let's do a Bosstler book club. I had workbooks. Like, I designed a workbook. Like, I was just full force going with Bosstler because this was just like something new, something fresh, something fun. I'm just like, yeah, I'm a coin. This is about to be the new Boss Babe. I even created Baby Bosstler for my son, because at the time, again, I was doing these workshops online and doing all of these different type of, it wasn't really podcasts, but I guess it was like the Instagram version of a podcast, interviews or whatever. And I had one segment where I was interviewing my son, and he was probably like 8 at the time, maybe. And he had said something about, because I asked him, I said, what does hustling look like for you? And I'll insert the clip.
About the others, just try to do my stuff, hustle to the front.
What you said?
Hustle to the front of the league.
Hustle to the front of the league?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Like, we're hustling to the front
Hustle
of doing the business.
I feel like that should be on a shirt. Hustle to the front of the league.
But yeah, so he was like, yeah, hustle means like hustling to the front of the league. And I don't know why that was just like, oh yeah, this is amazing. We're gonna do baby Bosstler merch now because we're gonna have the baby Bosstlers because we wanna, encourage the youths and break generational curses, blah, 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 generational wealth. We was just on a movement with the Bosstler brand. We had baby Bosstler and we had Bosstler, which is the adult version. When I came up with the term Bosstler, it really didn't have, I won't say it didn't have meaning. I did not know, it was very bare bone. That's the best way to put it. I knew the vision of it. I knew where I wanted it to be. I knew that I wanted it to be very community driven. I knew that I wanted a community of Bosslers. I knew that I wanted it to impact the youth as well, which is why I was very excited about the baby Bosstler version of it. But I just didn't know the direction I wanted to go in. As the pandemic was coming to an end, I had went through a breakup and I had moved. I relocated, brand new state. I left everything behind. Everything was cool until 2023, and I felt like I completely lost myself. I went through so much loss that year, and that was the year that I felt like I was no longer a Bosstler. I felt like I did not connect with Bosstler. I felt like Bosstler didn't have meaning to me anymore. I didn't know what it was to be a Bosstler. And I had started life coaching with my really good friend now, Bianca. And I was telling her about Bosstler, she's just like, I love the concept Bosstler. Like, you are a Bosstler. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't feel like a Bosstler because for me, in my mind, I felt like a Bosstler was somebody who, like, had her shit together. She had her shit together. She got her business going. She popping. She driving a nice car. She has, a successful business. I just thought that was what defined Bosstler. And I felt like I was an imposter promoting this Bosstler lifestyle, but I was nowhere being a Bosstler. I was laid off from my job. I was facing evictions. Debt was piling up. When I say lost myself, completely lost myself, lost everything. Yeah, I just didn't feel like a Bosstler. And I didn't feel that way for a really long time until, I would say, coming to the end of my relationship in 2025. It was around September, just went through a really bad breakup. And again, I felt lost. You feel like you poured so much into a person. You poured so much into just things and you have nothing to show for it. I felt depleted. I felt empty. I felt as if I completely lost myself. I was sitting with myself, not understanding how the hell did I got myself in this situation again. It's not like this is the first time this is happening. It's happening again. And it's just like, why is this showing up not only in my romantic relationship, but I feel like I'm getting played with in my business relationships. I'm going through it with family. It just felt like I was just getting hit left and right from every aspect of my life, and I just couldn't understand it. It took a lot of self-reflecting in that moment of me realizing yo, why do you not think that you're worth so much more? Because if you felt like you were worth more, you would not accept the things that you were accepting. If you felt like you were worth so much more, you would not settle for certain things. You would not feel like you would not come from a place of scarcity. And I dig deeper and I'm like, do I truly love myself then? Because how can I sit here and say I love myself and allow people to ill-treat me this way? I had to really think about it. And for me, I felt like, damn, I don't even think anybody really truly taught me how to properly love myself. I feel like the women around me, they were very male-centered, and they were teaching me how to show up for a man, but not show up for myself. And that was all I saw growing up, was women showing up for their men, showing up for their relationship. And then when things don't work out with that relationship, then they're like, oh, our family is cursed. Oh, we don't have luck with men. And it's just like, what? And this is the type of people that I was around growing up. These were my role models in a sense, right? Like these were the people that I was supposed to look up to growing up. And when they would give advice, whether it's from relationship aspects or whatever, they're speaking from a hurt, scarred, unhealed place. I knew that this was not what I wanted anymore. And I think I was more intentional about not wanting this anymore because I felt throughout my entire 20s, this was the same thing that I kept on doing. I kept making the same mistakes. I kept being a people pleaser. I kept not standing firm on my boundaries. I didn't know what the word no meant. Like, I felt like my no always had to come with the explanation. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was. And I do think a lot of that does come from me being a young mom too, because I had my son at 16. So, you know, during that time when you have self-discovery and you're finding the things that you like from what you don't like, and not really having to care about anybody else but yourself, I didn't have that opportunity because from a very young age, I always had to care for someone else. So it went from me being barely a teenager or not even really getting to experience teenage years to now me being a responsible adult caring for another person. And I feel like it just kind of carried on into other relationships where I was caring about other people and putting myself on the back burner. And I didn't want that for my 30s. I was very intentional about going into my 30s differently, which is also why I'm just like, I'm going to end this relationship now because I don't want to take this into another chapter of potential or banking on potential and all of these different things. I didn't want that for myself. So throughout all of this reflecting, all of these self-discoveries, it hit me one night in October. It was like at the beginning of October. Probably was like 1-2 o'clock in the morning of me going through all of these different thoughts and me really reflecting and coming up with the epiphany of, damn, I really don't love myself. So it's like, all right, cool. I know I don't love myself, but what now? And for some reason, I don't know why, Bosstler just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, man, you know, I want to take back my energy. Like, I'm tired of giving my energy away. I'm tired of people being in control of it. Like, I want to command it back. I want to take back my power. And I feel like I have the drive and the resilience to rise from this situation the same way how I rise from that situation, and the same way how I rise from the other situation. And that's when it dawned on me, and I'm like, this is what it means to be a Bosstler. This is the true meaning of a Bosstler. It means for me, as like the boss part of Bosstler is for me to command back my energy, like me being in control of my energy, me being in control of my own power, because that's what a boss does. They are in control of the power. And I wanted to be in control of my life again. And then the hustler part of Bosstler, being a hustler, is something you either got or you don't got. Everybody not a hustler. I felt like that showed up as my drive, the resilience, my ambition, all of the things that create me as a person, who I am at the core, my characteristics that pushes me to the next level of things that is not taught, but I'm born with. I just developed throughout the years of circumstances, environment, things of that nature. That is the hustle part of Bosstler. And that birthed what Bosstler means today. It has evolved into something so much more meaningful than what it originally, what the original concept was. Granted, yes, the concept is still boss and a hustler put together. That's all cool and gravy, but the deeper rooted meaning, the real mission behind Bosstler, the real essence of it is you being in control of your life and those core attributes about yourself that nobody could take from you. Because regardless of whatever situation that I have been in, nobody could take away my drive. Nobody could take away the ambition that I have for myself, or any of those core attributes that someone will try to strip away from you and break you down. It don't matter how much that person have tried to break me down, I am still here and I'm still standing. And that is what I want Bosstler to stand for, and that's what I wanted it to mean. So I came up with the whole term. I redefined the term. It evolved into something beautiful, a beautiful meaning. But I wanted to dig a little deeper again because I was just stuck with, okay, cool, I have the meaning, and I realized that I didn't love myself. But how do I start loving myself again? Like, what does that even look like? Again, I didn't have anybody to teach me on how to properly love yourself. I didn't have anybody around me to show me this is the things that you need to do in order to pour back into yourself. I didn't know what that looked like. So I thought, I'm like, okay, well, what do I have that I can give myself every day? And then I'm like, well, I have my five senses, right? I have my sight, my hearing, my taste, my touch, my smell. I have those things, and I feel like a lot of the times we take them for granted. If we have a stuffy nose, you know, we realize how we took our smell for granted. The same thing with our taste. We don't take the time to really enjoy our food or enjoy the flavors and the savoriness of the dish that we're eating until we hit with a cold or a fever or a flu or something, and then now our taste is gone and we're just like, oh my God, I can't taste this food. I wish I could taste it. So why would I wait until that point to not honor the things that I am blessed with that other people wake up and are not able to use? I should be able to honor it every single day, show it gratitude, show myself gratitude, and just be thankful that I am able to have access to use these senses. And that was what started the framework that I was building out for myself on how to love myself. So I started looking up how to romanticize your life, because for me, I'm like, if I'm sitting here seeking out romance from somebody or seeking out for somebody to love me and love on me the way that I want to be loved, but I'm not loving on me that way, then how can I expect them to do that? And that's what sparked the whole romanticizing my life journey, because I wanted to start giving myself the things that I was looking externally for. With looking up how to romanticize my life, I was looking on TikTok, and all of the things that kept popping up was about bubble baths and lighting candles, putting on robes, spraying perfume, all of those nice girly things, right? But again, those things were just external. They did not penetrate for me. They didn't really tap into what I was really looking for. Yes, those things are great tools and rituals that you can do to enhance, you know, romanticizing your life, but I wanted to dig a little bit deeper. And although the five senses touch the external things, I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, really get to the core and to the essence of me. So then I'm like, you know what if I was to pour into myself mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually every single day? And I purposely left out finance, because I feel like finance comes when all of those things are aligned. Because even if I was to focus on finance, I feel like I will shift my energy or move my energy, or my energy will be swayed so that I can get to the finance part, especially because I'm in a place of wanting more, right? Wanting more money, or wanting to feel like I'm being more established. I didn't want to be driven by that. Hence the original meaning, right? The original meaning of Bosstler was about the hustle, was about that toxic hustle and being a boss and getting the money. I didn't want it to be about that anymore. I wanted Bosstler to be about the essence. I wanted my romanticized life journey to be about the essence. Honoring the five senses and my four pillars, the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual state, that is what I did to create my framework, which I call the alignment framework, because it is me aligning myself so that I could be one, aligning myself so I can be grounded, and finding who I am at the core, so that I'm so grounded that when I get into another relationship, whether it is another romantic relationship, another business relationship, that I can't be swayed. My no is a no. My boundary is my boundary. I'm showing up as I am, and I'm not being intimidated. I'm not dimming my light down. I'm not doing any of those things, because I know who I am and I am properly aligned, because every day I am pouring into myself to the point where my cup is full. Every day I am pouring into myself to where I am fully in love with myself, and I am in love with who I am, flaws and all. So with that, that is what rebirthed what Bosstler means, what it is today. This birthed my alignment framework. With all of this sparked the idea of creating products and tools to help me along the journey. And I created my romanticized life journal. I created lip gloss, because for me, I felt like sometimes when you don't feel pretty, or you don't feel like you have the energy to do something, all you need is a little bit of lip gloss, because a little bit of lip gloss can really give you that energy that you need to really make yourself feel like I did something today. I made the effort. Even on the days when you don't feel like getting out of bed, the days that you feel like shit, you put on some lip gloss, even a little mascara, and you feel like you're that girl. And that's why I created that Still That Girl duo kit, because I wanted a mirror that looks back at you and that you could do that mirror work on the go, that constantly tells you, I am enough, I am becoming her. It constantly reminds you every time you look in that mirror that you have that affirmation looking back at you. And when you put on your lip gloss, to remind you that you are still that girl. That was what inspired the Still That Girl duo kit. The Romanticize Your Life journal, I made that because, and honestly, with that journal, I was not planning on putting that out. I really wasn't. That was something for me personally that I created for myself. It wasn't until I was like on TikTok and I was showing my friends and they're like, oh my God, I want one. And I'm like, really? I didn't think anybody would want one. But that's what sparked the Romanticize Life journal, because I wanted something that was going to be able to help me stay on track, tracking how many times I'm honoring my senses, how many times I'm pouring back into myself, and me tracking where I am from day 1 to day 90 to the woman that I am trying to evolve into and to become. That's what inspired the Romanticized Life journal. The Kiss by the Moon collection, that was inspired by this entire story, because this all happened in the wee hours of the morning at night, when it was just me and the moon. Nobody was up, nobody was with me other than the moon. Nobody was seeing my tears. Nobody was seeing my reflection other than the moon. So that was why I named this collection Kissed by the Moon. The Lunar Glow body oil, that when you put that on, you feel so beautiful, you feel social, you feel sexy. It makes you feel like you are that girl. Every single product that I have made under Bosstler was very intentional. They are tools to help you throughout your journey, to help you feel beautiful, to help you feel like you're doing just enough to pour back into yourself every single day. I even have my aura box that I show you guys on TikTok when I do my work from home series. I still haven't really figured out the kinks on how to push that out, and I really want to give that out to you guys, because that aura box has helped me every day stay on track with aligning and pouring into at least 1 sense. So with that being said, I actually created a free 5-day Romanticize Your Life challenge, where over the course of 5 days, you'll be sent tasks and prompts for you to help reconnect with yourself through your 5 senses and to help you romanticize your life on the daily. So if you are interested in that, I'm gonna have it down in the description, and I hope you join. I hope I see you there on this journey. But yeah, that is the story of Bosstler. That is my Bosstler lore. That is the creation story, and I feel like this is not the end. I probably may make another video in the next 5 years on what Bosstler now means, because I feel like Bosstler is something that is evolutionary. It's something that is always evolving, and we just don't know what this may be. We don't know what this may become. But what I do know is that I am taking the chance on myself and banking on myself, and I want you to bank on yourself, take the chance on yourself, and to start pouring back into yourself today. But until then, y'all, I'll see you on the next video. Mwah!